Hey everybody, Pastor Dave here, and our midweek message this week is about Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. Now, if you think the walls fell because they shouted, you and I have missed the secret that they learned in silence. Maybe you're wondering right now why it feels like God's not moving in your life, or why it feels like the enemy is winning. Well, stay tuned. We love the part in this story where the walls crumble. We believe that this story is about shouting your victory into existence, as if loudness equals victory. Somewhere along the way, praise has become a kind of transaction in our minds. If I yell loud enough, God's going to fix this. When you're staring at an impossible wall, a diagnosis, a mountain of debt, being told to just shout louder is really not the best advice. What happened that week at Jericho tells us a story. God didn't start with a shout. He started with 6 long days of silence. Deep, uncomfortable, almost embarrassing silence. Put yourself in their shoes for a second. These were soldiers, men trained for noise, men who lived off the rush of a battle cry. Everything in them must have been screaming, fight back, say something, do anything. And yet God kept saying, walk around the city and be still. Why? Because noise often is how we pretend we're in control. Silence is where we fully admit that we're not. When your bank account is zero, you've lost your job, your mortgage is due, or your health is failing, you suddenly realize that you were not in control all this time. God had to strip away their strategies, their self-confidence, until all that remained was dependence on Him. He let them look foolish so they never confuse His victory with their strength. And think about the people inside Jericho. They were prepared for shouting, for chaos, for the roar of an army. What they weren't prepared for was a procession that felt more like a funeral march than a battle. Just 7 priests blowing trumpets of ram's horns. Silence can be terrifying. A loud army says, we're coming for you. A silent army says, God is already here. That silence didn't just humble Israel, it rattled Jericho. So maybe you're in your own silent season right now. Maybe you're begging God, why aren't you doing anything? Why am I still waiting? But what if He isn't ignoring you? What if He's teaching you mental stillness? What if He's waiting for you to stop relying on your own noise, your panic, excuses, reasoning, and attempts to fix everything yourself? The shout on day 7 wasn't what won the battle. It was simply the agreement, the amen, to a victory God had already won in the stillness. You don't have to scream your walls down. The power isn't in how loud you are. It's not in how many hours you pray, how many days you fast, or how many seeds you sow. It's in how surrendered you are. Can we trust Him enough to be still? Can we actually handle being quiet long enough to let God move freely in our lives? That's our challenge. And I would recommend everyone read Joshua chapter 6, verses 1 through 21, to read that whole story. Hope you all have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you on Sunday.